Today I wanted to review and talk about this foundation, Fenty Beauty foundation. This is Rihanna's beauty product that she released, and I did do a first impression of Fenty Beauty, some of her products in the previous video. I'm going to link that in the description box below. If you haven't seen my first impression of Fenty Beauty, I tried a couple of their highlights and the contour and highlight sticks. So you can watch that. I did get a sample of this along with that purchase that I did online, and I ended up really liking the color, the way it looked on my skin. So I went back to Sephora and actually got the full size of this foundation. This color is color 220, and I'm gonna apply this foundation on and talk about it as I put it on. If you're over 40 and thinking about getting this foundation, stay towards the end and hear what I have to say about this foundation. There are so many pros and cons about this foundation that I wanted to share with you. And first though, I'm gonna go over how it applies. I'm putting on one side I'm going to put on with a brush, and then one side I'm going to apply this foundation with a beauty blender, so you can see how it applies with different types of application. And then I will talk to you about how it actually performs, because I have been testing this for about a week and a half now. So I wanted to share it with you if you're 40 and over and you are excited about this foundation but you're not sure if you want to get it or not. Definitely this review is for you. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Maryam, and if you've been here before, thank you for coming back and watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed this review. Now let's get started on the application, and then at the end I will tell you my full-on review of this foundation. Okay, let's get started. For this review, I am going to prime my face. I'm going to prime it with the Mineral Veil by Hourglass. This primer always makes me look purple. I feel like I look like Barney when I put this on. I'm gonna do an extra step, and I'm gonna use this pore minimizer by NYX. I'm gonna just put that right around my nose and my this area here. So I use this every time, either this or the Benefit pore minimizer for my pores. So I'm going to do that. Now my face is ready for this foundation. Now it says to shake well. I'm going to do one side of my face using this kind of a brush. The color is a little bit yellow, but by the time I'm done with everything, it works out and it kind of cancels out the redness on my skin. So I like that. I put on 3 pumps on this. I think that was a little excessive for a brush, but let's see what happens. I actually put this foundation on only with a sponge so far, with a beauty blender. So I don't really know. This is my first time using it with a brush too. So we're both learning how this works. You can see the color matches my neck so nicely. So 220 is actually a good color. It's just my face is a little bit more light and pink because I don't get too much sun there. I feel like 3 pumps is a lot for just the half part of your face. But that's how it applies with a brush. I'm just going to put 1 pump and see what happens first before I put in the second one. We'll build it up, and then I'll show you how it builds up too. My beauty blender is damp. Okay, I'm going to go with 1 more pump. So this is how it looks with just 1 pump. And you can see I still need more coverage on my forehead. So that was just a little under how much I wanted to use. So now that I'm putting on the second coat of foundation, it's becoming more full coverage. I'm I'm gonna put some on my lids too, since they look a little darker. I want to just kind of cancel out that darkness. Looking at it closely, it looks like the Beauty Blender side is a little bit less dry looking to me. It looks like it blended a little bit better, but it's not that different. So it's not that huge of a difference. It blended fine with the brush too. It was just a thicker application, and because I think I went with 3 pumps because the foundation is so liquidy that it gets absorbed into the brush and you feel like you're not going to have any foundation on your face, but it actually works out. Once you put it on, you can probably cover your entire face with a brush using 3 pumps, so you don't need to use more than that. I usually use 2 pumps on each side when I'm using the Beauty Blender, and so I'm gonna put on my powder and my concealer. Today I'm gonna put on the NARS concealer, and this is medium 1. It's called Custard. I'm just gonna use that in the inner corners right here where I have more shadow and darkness, and a couple of dots on the sides. I don't like to go too heavy with a concealer if I don't have to. And this looks like it did a great job covering most of my under eye circles, so I'm not gonna do too much with the concealer today. So I'm just gonna put this powder wherever I know I'm gonna get kind of oily, and I might cover a little bit on the that contour color just to set it a little bit, because I don't want it to start breaking up or anything like that, just a little bit. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna do with the powder. I'm not really putting on a ton, just very lightly powder this area. So now I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back to tell you more about this foundation and how I really feel about it. I have been wearing it for the past week, and I have tried it in different ways. I do like the application. The application to me is better with a beauty blender or a sponge that's damp beauty blender than a brush. To me, a brush makes it too full coverage, and I'm not sure if I like that. I like to make my foundation a little bit more medium coverage, and this foundation is a medium to full coverage, so you can build it up. It's easily built up, but when it dries into a full-on matte, and it's almost to the point where it's kind of looking dry on the dry spots, so it kind of clings on to things if you don't hydrate your skin. So make sure you hydrate your skin before you use this foundation, because it tends to make your skin even more dry. Before, when I wore this, I didn't see as much pores as I do now, and I'm wondering if it's because of this. I don't know. I don't know if it's this primer that doesn't really work with this foundation, but before, when I wore this foundation, I only wore the NYX pore minimizer, and I only wore, another time I wore it with the Benefit pore minimizer, and it just and put lots of cream on beforehand, and I put my sunblock on, and then put my pore minimizing primer before when I used this, and it felt like the foundation looked more flawless on my skin. Throughout the day, it does get a little bit oily on the T-zone, depending on how the weather is. Last week when I wore this, it was really humid and hot here in LA, so my T-zone started breaking up on my nose, and after 5-6 hours of wear, I didn't have that much foundation on my nose. I didn't have that much foundation on my chin. It was wearing off, but on a cooler day, it held up fine. It was fine. This area, T-zone, was fine. But for some reason, that one day that I put it on that was humid and hot, it didn't do too well after a few hours on my T-zone. But this area was perfect. This area was perfect because it's more dry. Certain lighting, it makes my skin look really amazing. if I am not in a really direct light, it looks really nice. If I'm outside, sitting in the car, open shade lighting, kind of, it makes my skin look really amazing. I was looking in my mirror and I kept telling my husband, I'm like, do you see my skin? Do you see my skin? And he's like, oh my gosh, this foundation is really nice. And he was actually complimenting me, how nice, this looks really nice. I really like how your skin looks with this. But then there are certain days, depending on what you put under the foundation, it could change. I feel like it could change the formula a little bit. The wear of it though, I don't think it's a very long wearing if you have really oily skin. But if you have dry skin, it is long wearing. There's so many pros and cons to this. I don't know, I want to say I love this foundation because of certain things, and then I don't love it so much because of certain things. I wish that they would come up with something right in the middle. I mean, I feel like the filtering effect of it is really there and it's working, but I wish it was a little bit hydrating. On the box it says that it's for all skin. I don't believe that's true. I feel like more hydrated, normal to a little bit oily skin really would like this foundation. I'm really dry skin, really dry skin. I don't think it's a good idea to wear this. And if you are over 40 and you are dealing with dry skin, this foundation may not be a good foundation for you unless you are really hydrating beforehand, and you know, you may be able to get away with it. But if you are extremely dry, even with moisturizing, you still see dry spots, then definitely skip this foundation. What I found that using some makeup mist like this, makeup primer, this one is Vitamin Makeup Mist by Pixi. I use this on and it just adds a little bit more glow into your skin. It won't make it look as dull and matte. So if you want, you can use something like this too, and it really works. It really does do the job, and it brings back some of that glow, and it doesn't look as matte if you don't like that look. So you can't do that if you already bought this and you like the way it looks on your face, but the only thing is that you feel like it's too matte, you can put some primer water. And that's all I had to say about this foundation. I hope that you found this review helpful, and if you pick up this foundation, let me know in the comments below how you feel about it, how you like it. And thank you so much again for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you like this foundation review. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.